In the 60s, there were two bands that you had to like. Well, quite a few actually, but the main two, of course, were the Beatles and the Rolling Stones. So which one of them now has basically caused even more controversy back in their hometown? And more importantly, why? Hi, morning, Neil Sean here in the heart of London. I hope you're keeping well. And yes, it's back to the 60s really this morning, because basically, if you lived through the 60s, the Rolling Stones were seen as the bad boys of pop. And of course, the Beatles were seen as more clean cut. That's all thanks, of course, to the expert management of the time of course, Brian Epstein. But the Beatles have really, well, carried on and on and on, as have the Rolling Stones, who are currently already back out on tour with their No Filter tour. Mick Jagger looks, I think, great for his age. And, let's be honest, he's clearly not been near a surgeon, has he? But nonetheless, at least he looks his age and still looks fabulous. Now, for me, of course, I like both sides of their music. I think there's great tracks from each band of any era. I think, if you remember the sort of 80s and 90s, I remember, of course, interviewing Mick Jagger when he tried to do a few solo albums. It didn't particularly take off for him, but I think he's a brilliant frontman. And, of course, I think Emotional Rescue by the Stones and Miss You are two great tracks. But it's back to the Beatles really for this latest problem, and it all centres round number 10. Because our brand new culture secretary, that's right, we have one apparently, called Nadine Dorries, has awarded quite a few million over to her hometown in Liverpool to build a brand new Beatles attraction. Now, there's nothing wrong with that. Something brand new in a city could, of course, take in a lot of tourists, but there's already a lot of Beatles themed places there, included, of course, the replication of the Cavern nightclub, which the Beatles made famous way back at the start of their career. But apparently Boris, our Prime Minister, has agreed this deal and, of course, was very quickly able to set it through, all thanks to Nadine's great connections. But this has now kicked off because lots of people are saying, why can't it be independently financed? And more importantly, why can't they look at the remaining Beatles, and this is not a bad idea, of Ringo Starr and Sir Paul McCartney? Indeed, why can't they drop something into the £1 million plus that's required to build this attraction? So far, of course, they've remained silent. Strange that, isn't it? I always love the multimillionaires of music who have opinions, political, all that sort of stuff, but the minute you ask them to snap open their purses, nothing to be done. So far, though, it looks like it's going to go ahead, but expect a lot of controversy around that. And I think more importantly for the brand new culture secretary, she hopefully will be spending the same amount of money on other attractions divided, of course, across this wonderful United Kingdom. If not, it could be a case of get back to where you once belonged. Neil Sean in the very heart of London.